Thanks for tuning back in. I'm Tommy Campbell, still bald, still in my basement, and still laughing at all the occupants of the MAGA clown car that's crashed into a flaming dumpster, and they're trying to flee the scene in their big red shoes, boxed wine, and 2 long ties. MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell held a cyber symposium where he had a $5 million challenge regarding the election data PCAPs he claimed to have, and he will now have to pay cyber forensics expert Robert Zeidman $5 million. There's more to this story that is simply fantastic, but first, this.
You can't find gasoline anywhere. This has been going on since Sunday, and they're blaming it on the floods that impacted the port, and I know that was a factor, but it's been 4 days. This should have been figured out by now. And they're blaming it on consumer panic. Yeah, people are panicked because they got to get to work. They got places to go. So yeah, people are panicked. And of course they're filling up, saying don't fill up. Of course you're going to fill up because you don't want to make, you don't know the next time you're going to have to make a 2-hour line. And they keep saying it's going to get better, but it's not. They got to get this thing fixed.
Rubio, you are the government, so why are you dumping MAGA tears on social media instead of making some calls? Also, siding with panic buyers, not intelligent. You're not calming their fears, you're handing them a match. I'd say talk to Ron DeSantis and see what's up, but he's busy pretending to promote a book nobody wants to read while fighting with the place that supports nearly 500,000 jobs and has a $75 billion economic impact on the state. It is pouring MAGA tears. Mike Lindell has to cut a big check, and I have fun getting into all the latest and stupid, discussing Mike's cyber symposium that led to this check and more.
Elon Musk totally removed my blue check on Twitter, but people will still know it's me because you don't need a blue check to identify the stupid things I say that are riddled with typos.
This is really cool.
Mike Lindell held a 3-day cyber symposium in Sioux Falls where he promised to show the PCAPs of the entire election for cyber experts to validate and perhaps win $5 million. The event started late and Mike blamed hackers in the power grid, and then they just got things going with a prayer.
God, we thank you, God. You're Jehovah Sabaoth. You are the Lord of hosts. Loose your angels right now, God. More and more angels, God, to do your work, to fight the battles. The battle is yours, and we trust you.
These people are terrifying.
And your vengeance would come forth. You would repay, God, the evil. This is what your word says. Your word says, vengeance is mine.
The crowd had to sit through this prayer and then the pledge and the anthem every day before they could get to the meat in the steak sandwich, which was never served. I still think Lindell should have had a virus symposium. He gets COVID, and then like a room full of Facebook moms have 3 days to see if they can cure him with ivermectin, essential oils, candles, and stretching. That would have been awesome. Robert Zeidman, who goes by Bob, is a 63-year-old forensics expert from Nevada and a 2-time Trump voter who says he's a reasonable and moderate conservative. He went to the symposium because he's an expert and MAGA and wanted to see the election fraud data for himself. Most of the experts, such as this Rob Graham, were experts on packet captures or PCAPs, and that's what they came to see but never did. Instead, they were all pointed to 5 files on the network, some of which were 22 gigs, and were told that these files showed data flowing from China and other places over the internet to the voting machines on the day of the election. At some point, Bob performed a transformation of the files and found that these files were just Microsoft Word documents containing numbers and gibberish. Bob wrote a report about his findings and even registered a copyright online. Bob eventually figured out to check the modification dates and found that the files he'd been given had all been modified within the last couple weeks. That means that they could not be evidence relating to the 2020 election, so he added that to his report. There was no way for this to be network data or any data related to the election. Back at his hotel, Bob called his wife and said, "All I want to say is that you should start thinking about how you want to spend $5 million. Which I think is great, but it also got me thinking back to, remember the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire days when the guy phoned his dad saying he was about to win $1 million? And I remember watching that thinking, why would you phone your dad when you know you're about to win $1 million when you could phone your ex-girlfriend? One of my favorite moments from the Cyber Symposium was their attempt to pass a note, but thanks to my secret George Soros camera technology, I was able to get close.
One thing I would like to mention to anybody who is doing the audit, I'd like you to consider if we do have intrusion into the voting systems that are able to control all the states presidential elections to that kind of a control curve, why would I leave any other race on the table? Make sure you pay attention to all of them.
So the question is so were these calculations being made in China on election night?
I've been looking at the result data. I have no way to know where they were being made.
After 3 days of not giving out the PCAPs as promised, Lindell said he was attacked by an elevator, making many wonder if something happened adjacent to an elevator or if he was attacked by a rogue lift. That's for my UK subscribers.
Hello, everybody. Everybody, please, you got to listen to this. Everybody, please be seated. Last night when I got to the hotel, I was attacked. This attack, it was probably in my life, if you've read my book, I've had swords to my throat, that this was even more fearful. I've never had anything like this. That was one of the most scariest men and scariest things that I've ever had to go through there, because I knew it was for keeps, that these guys stop at nothing.
I think someone played with him for keeps and took all his marbles.
Phil, here we're going to talk about where we're going today in light of this. So Colonel, go ahead.
So in addition to the red team, we started receiving credible threat warnings about 2 weeks ago. We've got attempts to take your personal information by some of these folks.
Just want to say you needed your email and your phone number to sign up to watch this. And this is the guy who was dropped by Verizon for using personal data.
This thing has been compromised. We think that they're going to put a poison pill into the data.
Yes, he wildly claimed there was some sort of self-destructing in the data, and this was laughed off by every single expert there. But Mike did this at the direction of Dennis Montgomery, the con artist who sold him the totally fake election data. Don't eat the donuts. He wanted to create the illusion of more conspiracy to mask the conspiracy theory that he couldn't prove.
So because the woke represents a war on truth, we have no other recourse but to wage a war on woke. We fight the woke in the schools. We fight the woke in the legislature. We fight the woke in the corporations. We will never, ever surrender to the woke mob. Florida is where woke goes to die.
Does Ron think if he says woke enough in a short amount of time that he's going to summon a giant rainbow demon? In Ron's own book, Courage to be Free, he says how he was married at Disney World, says it was his wife's idea, and he didn't know he'd be squaring off against Disney in a political battle one day. This guy is eating chocolate pudding out of the cup with his fingers and is trying to bite Mickey Mouse's hand at every opportunity, and his latest jab includes threatening to build a state prison next to Disney World and threatening more taxes and inspection requirements. The thing is, if his Florida is so free, then why is he trying to make it harder for a company to do business by threatening to raise taxes and take greater control of their land and operations?
Alex here, still in the bunker with Marjorie again. Good dude. The Georgia Gremlin has been losing popularity recently, so we're trying to drum up some support for my helicopter hug-hunting pipe bomber who threatens teenagers and is against some of the stuff I watch on my own on my laptop. Okay, she doesn't like it. We cracked a bottle of my brain farce pills that I do sell here. Full disclosure, they are just expired Kirkland signature vitamins that we repackage for the dum-dums. Even if the pills really worked, it would just assist you to arrive to the dumb thought even quicker. And we came up with these I Heart MTG mugs and stickers. Oh yeah, but I tell you, we had a lot of drafts before we arrived on these beauties. And yes, we rolled with a picture that does show MTG wearing a wedding ring, even though her husband left her for all the cheating and crazy stuff that she does. Now, I personally pushed for some other variations like I Heart Blonde Meat Swamps and a 7-toed mug. When her products went live, I can confirm that things got a little misty in here. I cracked a few cans of Bud Light and poured them into the I Heart MTG creations, dumping those brews down her tan turkey neck, gobble gobble. But I told her I'm more than happy to drink woke brews from your mugs, and these white t-shirts will be coming off in seconds. I can confirm that, start the stopwatch. But if I see a sliver of your twisted trotters that look like something you'd find in the direct sun exposed dumpster of a ballpark pretzel factory, if you dropped a grenade into one of those upside down ducks in Chinatown and then super glued the charred ducky chunks together, it would still resemble more of a foot than what she got going on down there. Because what is the rule, MTG?
The socks stay on.
The socks stay on.
Dan Bongino is out at Fox News, and rumors are swirling that we will soon see Jeanine Pirro and Maria Bartiromo getting the chop as well. As I've said, Fox News is like a white suit with paint down the front that they can never wash out. Their viewers cannot escape the news outside of Fox. Even if it's just on social media, it's everywhere. They are being made aware that they were lied to again and again and that Fox had to pay for it. And the firing of Dan is one more way that they will see that. These Bud Light billboard images have been circulating. I don't know if they are real, but I do know that they are hilarious and that every closed-minded right-winger that encounters them on social media will be filling their diapers. Like, real or not, we'll have to wait and see. But the only thing they could have done better was just to put MAGA Tears on these ads. Again, these people lost their minds over a single can, a single Instagram post. They threw beers in the trash, attempted to shoot them, drove over them with their Jeeps, but were the snowflakes. Bob's quote on all this is fantastic. For the invited foreign experts, it was greatly disappointing that what we were told we would see, we never actually saw. For me, it was eye-opening, but not to election fraud, but rather to the fact that Mike Lindell wanted to believe so badly that he accepted every conspiracy theory about the election that ever came up. Make sure you've had your 10th Fauci booster and are triple masking at home. MAGA Tears. More communist liberalism pressure. MAGA Tears. You're a complete idiot. A whole being based on taking phrases out of contact? MAGA Tears. I can't figure out if you're a prick with ears or just a couple ears with a prick. MAGA Tears. Thanks so much for watching. Help me out by joining us in the comments, sharing this video with a friend, and following me on social media. I am a one-man show here, from script to screen, the editing, even the graphics. Please throw me a tip with the easy PayPal link or hit that super thanks button, and be sure to check out my mugs that go great with those MAGA Tears. I am a stand-up comedian. I've played in 35 countries, and I've toured with Jim Jeffries for nearly 10 years. I have 3 albums and a brand new EP from my opening set on Jim's latest Netflix special. You can stream these on Spotify, Apple Music, or catch them on SiriusXM. Thanks for helping me make this show possible. Life's short. Be cool, be kind, take care.